Hi friends, welcome to another Read Aloud. I'm Harley and this is Doppy, and today we're going to be reading a really fun story that teaches us all about entomology, or the study of insects. And the book is called Jeremy and the Beetle Takedown, written by Sallana Brown. Okay, let's get right into it. Jeremy and the Beetle Takedown, written by Sallana Brown. Jeremy and his friends were in science class with their teacher, Miss Birch. They couldn't wait to learn about the new topic that she promised they would love. "What's our lesson for today?" asked Jeremy. "Today we're going to be learning about entomology. Does anyone know what that is?" asked Miss Birch. "I know," Jeremy said, jumping up from his desk. He thought science was the coolest subject. Jeremy was eager to share what he knew. He picked up the ant farm that he had made in class and said, "Entomology studies insects, right, Miss Birch? There are many kinds of insects, like ladybugs, butterflies, bees, and ants, like these little guys here." "Yes, entomology is a branch of zoology that deals with the study of insects. They are fascinating and important animals," Miss Birch said. "Today, we'll talk about the anatomy and life cycle of insects and then go outside to observe insects in their natural habitat," stated Miss Birch. "Wow, that sounds cool," said Michael. After Miss Birch's lesson, it was time to go outside and learn more. They examined flowers for hiding insects, looked in puddles, picked up rocks to see what was underneath, used a sweep net to gather insects, and dug deep in the ground. They were ready to explore more. However, their exploring came to a sudden halt. "What are those?" Jeremy shouted. They'd explored these trees for years. They had found each type of insect, flower, and leaf, but these were different. "Could this be a new kind of bug? Where did they come from?" asked Jeremy. They moved closer to see the bugs. It was time to use their knowledge of entomology. "They have backs like a beetle," Jeremy whispered. They took a step closer. "They are dark green with shiny shells," Ethan said. They were next to the bugs now. "We are emerald, not green," a beetle said. "We're having a lovely lunch eating the leaves on this ash tree. They're delicious," said another beetle. Jeremy and his friends jumped behind a bush. It didn't look like the beetles were going to stop eating anytime soon. Jeremy whipped out his entomology book from his backpack. "There it is!" Jeremy pointed to an image in his book. Cassie and Michael read about the Emerald Ash Borer Beetles. They hide their larvae or babies beneath the bark and tunnel around, leaving S patterns, said Michael. When they emerge from the trees as adults, they leave D-shaped holes in the bark and feed on the tree's leaves, said Cassie. Jeremy and his friends looked at the tree. It looked weak. These beetles weren't being very nice to the ash tree. "Let's go have a beetle party inside the tree," one beetle shouted. Soon all the beetles began eating their way deeper into the tree. Jeremy and his friends knew they had to do something. "I heard they are an invasive species. What does that mean?" Sarah asked Jeremy. "They're not supposed to be here. These ash trees aren't used to such strong beetles eating on their branches," Jeremy said. Jeremy and his friends didn't know what to do, but they had to do something fast, because suddenly the entire sky was filled with beetles. They were going to take over every tree. As they continued reading the entomology book, they discovered there are ways to help the trees. Miss Birch called Betty, a local tree specialist. She injected insecticide into the tree's trunk and sprayed a stinky solution on some of the trees. "It smells so gross." Jeremy pinched his nose. "Achoo! It's making me sneeze," Lizzie said, covering her nose with a tissue. "It's fungus," Betty said. Jeremy and his friends hoped it wasn't too late to save some of the trees. They were proud to have helped. They felt like it was a great end to their adventure until an angry beetle swarm came out of their holes. "What did you do to our trees?" They surrounded Jeremy and his friends. Michael gasped and Cassie started to shiver. And Jeremy stood in astonishment. Oh boy, there wasn't anything in the entomology book to help them now. Jeremy thought about what he could say. Maybe the beetles didn't understand they were hurting the trees. "Say something," Lizzie said with a gulp. Jeremy remembered something he learned when he was little. It was time these beetles learned it too. You guys have to share. Jeremy stomped his foot. The beetle buzzing stopped. Share? Asked one of the beetles. Cassie showed them the entomology book. We're invasive? That means what exactly? A beetle asked. That means you were brought here by accident, Jeremy said. We're actually hurting the trees? Another asked. The trees belong to everyone, not just you beetles. When you eat the inside of the tree, it gets weak and it can't survive. Eventually, there won't be any trees left, said Jeremy. But trees are our food. We need them to survive, one of the beetles replied. I know, Jeremy said, but just like you need trees, other creatures need them too. Birds build nests in their branches, squirrels find shelter in them, and even humans rely on trees for oxygen. We all share this planet, so we have to find a way to coexist. Maybe we can share the trees. We've already done enough damage to them by overeating, said one beetle. The beetles shook hands with Jeremy and promised to tell their friends about the importance of saving the trees and finding other food sources. Jeremy and his friends were so proud of what they had done. They learned all about these invasive beetles and even helped them understand that they were hurting the trees. Thanks to them, the beetles had agreed to change their eating habits to help preserve the forest, leaving the ash trees to flourish once again. They were heroes. The end. Wasn't that a great story? We loved it and we hope you loved it too. And if you did like it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to never miss a new Read Aloud video. We'll see you in the next story time. Bye!